All right, hello, and welcome to our discussion on the brand strategy. My name is Kelsey Stewart, and this is a digital public relations lecture. So, strategic brand strategy is going to help you set yourself apart from your competition and build customer loyalty. So, we're going to take a look at a couple of popular branding methods that are and essential elements in a branding strategy that will help solidify who you are as a customer and a company. So this is courtesy of HubSpot. We're going to go over a couple of a great layout for brand strategy. But a brand strategy is, in essence, a part of a business plan that outlines how the company will build a rapport and favorability within the market. The goal of a brand strategy is to become memorable in the eyes of your consumer so that they decide to patronize your business over the competition. So think of brands that you are diehard in buying no matter the price increase. What has that company done to deserve your trust and your service? And then you want to mimic that. These are a couple brands that I swear by. The one on the far right, Dots Pretzels, is relatively new, but they are amazing. I also am just solid Apple fan, always have been, always have a Mac. And then I really like Coffee Bean. I'm pretty particular with what type of coffee I like. I also like Starbucks, but yeah. All right, so what are the elements of a brand strategy? We're going to go over these 7 elements. Again, HubSpot, which is a wonderful resource, laid out 7 of them, and we're going to expand a little bit on them. So the first one's purpose, consistency, emotion, flexibility, employee involvement, loyalty, and competitive awareness.
As the VP of marketing, I had it all figured out. I could execute on any marketing plan sales handed to me, no matter how complex. So when my CEO called me into his office to discuss our strategy for the next 18 months, I was ready to get started on the next big thing. He outlined 2 complex plans and asked, "Can you pull off both?" I reassured him, "Yeah, of course we can do that." He paused for a long, agonizing minute, and then the yelling began. "Executing both of these strategies would put us out of business. You don't have a clue about what the purpose of marketing is. All you're doing is executing a series of tasks like they're a big to-do list. You're dangerous as the head of marketing." Well, the case can be made that my CEO was a jerk. He did challenge me. I was doing a lot of marketing things, but why was I doing them? The truth is, most companies don't have a strategy. They view strategy as a set of performance metrics and goals. But strategy doesn't just define what you do. It's as much about what you don't do. According to Richard Rumelt, a strategy requires 3 key elements. First, a diagnosis that defines the challenge. It's a realistic understanding of the current state of the business and market. Second, a guiding policy for dealing with the challenge. A policy directs action while also ruling out other approaches. And third, it's a set of coherent actions to accomplish the policy. This is how you overcome the complexity and conflict that plagues most companies. So, let's say an e-commerce company finds that its monthly sales are falling. They decide to focus on improving the average cart price. They make a plan to set a dollar threshold for free shipping and add a related items module to product pages. While simple, the example defines the problem, clarifies direction, and outlines the key action. Marketing's role is to help accomplish the strategy, to come up with tactical executions and test hypotheses. But the strategy is the North Star. It's the foundation for building a plan that is both focused and achievable. As the VP of marketing...
All right. So thank you for watching that. So that's just an overview kind of what it takes to build. We're talking about brand strategy, but that's going to involve marketing, obviously. We're going to be reaching out to our audience, reaching out to our consumers, trying to get a feel for what is going to attract them to us, right? So that's all about developing our brand as well, because our brand says a lot about who we are. So the elements of company branding, they're actual equal portions, which is great. Just a great visual right here. So it's loyalty, competitive awareness, again, purpose, consistency, emotion, flexibility, and employee involvement. So we need all of those in order to get that prime brand. So purpose, let's talk about purpose really quick. So A business in essence is created to build revenue, right? So its main purpose is functional. And in that it is first centered on commercial gains. So you're trying to make money. I'm just thinking about all of the small businesses I've started or helped market, and the goal is, hey, we like doing this, but let's see if we can make money doing this. Right? That's your purpose. You want to be able to have an income. However, in the right hands, this awareness of commission is not based in a greedy nature, but a creative and caring one that ideally will energize and drive that organization's business priorities and strategies. So, according to look at Coke. Its drive to put a glass of Coke within arm's reach of every person on the planet has been reflected in its supply chain policies, its product development, and in its distribution and pricing strategies. And we will talk a little bit more about Coca-Cola as we get going. Based on their 2013 annual report, Coca-Cola was the biggest seller of beverages in the world. So here's one of their quotes. The Coca-Cola Company is the world's largest beverage company. We own or license and market more than 500 non-alcoholic beverage brands. We believe our success depends on our ability to connect with customers by providing them with a wide variety of options to meet their desires, needs, and lifestyles. Our success further depends on the ability of our people to execute effectively every day. Our goal is to use our company's assets, our brands and financial strength, distribution system, global reach, and the talent and strong commitment of our management and associates to become more competitive and to accelerate growth in a manner that creates value for our share owners. So this is then the functional pursuit of purpose. Tying all that in is intentional. An intentional view of purpose sees money more as a means and reflects on the increasingly global bias. So the purpose of business in this context is to make money but to also do good in the world. So there's an intent there. Think of those brands that you stand by. What about Patagonia, for instance? When you picture Patagonia, you probably think of Earth Wellness. Patagonia, who pledge to build the best product, cause no unnecessary harm, and use business to inspire and implement solutions to the environment crisis. They took their commitment to the next level by famously suggesting to their companies, don't buy this jacket. So they are trying to live out their beliefs. So what is the best business strategy with purpose? Should it be functional, intentional? Both. That's what we're recommending. Both interpretations of purpose, because if a brand can chase its commercial goals at the same time that it lays down clear guidelines that its customers can agree with, then it will achieve those goals and the world will benefit from its growth. So there's a balance and in its purpose. Okay, so consistency. Let's move on. Consistency is the key to consistency is to avoid unnecessary things that crowd your overall purpose. So ask on a social media platform, does it align with your purpose? Does it enhance your brand? Let's talk about hashtags. So when you're posting and you're going to hashtag, you're not going to be hashtagging an account that is like completely irrelevant to your brand or your company, right? You want to hit those brands that actually will be relevant in your feed, so to speak, okay? So consistency contributes to brand recognition and fuels customer loyalty. So that's from HubSpot. But as we're noting, it's just the more consistent you are, the more they can expect to see you. And there's just relevancy in that. There's dependability. There's relationships are kind of created from that consistency. So when we think of Coca-Cola and we think of their holiday ads, what do we see? When we think of, I know for Trader Joe's, for instance, I love their winter blend. So I'll go to their winter blend coffee. I'm so excited when their their ginger snap cookies come out during holidays. Think of like the holiday versions of the brands that we just expect and we get excited about. Those are just they're relevant. They're consistent. They're at a certain time period. And we expect them and we give our loyalty by purchasing them, right? Okay, so let's move on to emotion. Emotion is seeking customers through heartstrings. So Forbes talks a little bit about successful emotional marketing. One of the first ones is the military commercials. When we see those, they're always just like incredibly gripping. It's at a certain demographic. It's at a certain, it's trying to grab those kids right out of high school or in college. It's just giving purpose. It's giving opportunities, right? Those are kind of themes there. Dove has just done a wonderful job of marketing, not your standard model, but everyone is included, right? They're all models. They've done a wonderful job of that. Nike has created this brand of just complete elite athletics, right? Think of brands that reflect your group or your society or the society of your company. So if you're kind of shooting for more of an artistic crowd or a music and entertainment crowd, or a book lover crowd, whoever you're seeking, you want to make sure that you're able to understand kind of what tugs their heart. You're understanding how to reach them, and that will all come through emotional marketing. All right, flexibility. So flexibility is maintaining that vibrant market no matter what. So Old Spice cracks me up because Old Spice was known as like the old man dad brand, right? So as soon as their consumers and their customers actually exceeded their, they got older, they wanted to make sure they were relevant still to today's consumers. So they have completely redone their brand, and now it's not just for old guys. They've got a lot of different types of fragrances that I know, my 14-year-old will wear and my husband will wear. So they've got a flexible market now. They've adapted. So how many products do you buy that have packaging that looks like it's from the 80s? Not very many. What if the company doesn't have a website or a social media presence? It's important to be flexible to adjust to the demands of the market and then to consistently update, not just your social media and your website, for instance, but also your branding. Okay, so let's go to employee involvement. Who represents your company? Where can you find the happiest employees? And that doesn't necessarily mean Disney. What characteristics do you think stand out in service? And then you want to emulate those. So wherever you've been, think of wherever you've been and you have just loved it. And you're like, hey, I would love my employees to represent that. Or the people that work for me and my company, I definitely want them having to do this because it's just unique, it's empowering, and it just builds a rapport that I want to mirror. So have you ever had horrible service on the flip side? I cannot tell you how many people have told me I went to this restaurant and I didn't get served for 15 minutes. Or I had just a rude waitress or whatever. I worked prior in bartending for years and years and years, so I like feel that to my core. But it's huge how much employees actually represent you. So you want to make sure you have employee involvement. My recommendation would be doing like a social media meet and greet. Make sure you involve like the face of your employees and like who they are, what they're doing, a little bit more about them. Keep it personal, and then also just kind of include just how they're part of a family, right? So keep it personal. Loyalty. So again, you want to reward your diehard crew. Think about those that just kind of have supported you. They've always been there. In our case, we think about the families that just supported our program from the beginning. We barely had to say anything, and they're like, "We are in." That's a loyalty. So you want to cultivate loyalty. You want to make sure you write thank yous. You give them special swag. If they write a review, feature it on your website. You want to maintain like almost grandfather them in, so to speak, to your company, because they will be loyal to you, and in turn, their enthusiasm for who you are and your company will in turn generate more interest, right? So competitive awareness. So you want to do your research daily. If there's other companies popping up, I like to check our domain. Like if there's a lot of domains that are kind of getting close to ours as Athletes Academy, or if there's other ones that, other businesses that are popping up that are trying to do what we want to do, you want to like be an avid newsreader on that. You want to stay up to date. You want to know what's going on so that you can take that next step to either offer the same thing, enhance what they're offering, or build partnerships. Okay, so thanks for tuning in on The Brand Strategy. Check out the resources here, and just keep me posted on your questions.